Okay, today I'm going to be looking at the alphabet hot foil stamps that have been made available by Craft Stash. I think they're one of their own brand hot foil stamps, and they had a promotion on recently, so I bought the uppercase and 3 sets of the lowercase and the numbers. They arrived earlier this week. It's April 2018 at the moment, so don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but that was a recent promotion, and so I thought I'd have a look at how they work and how you can get them to line up. This is one of my tests this morning I did. This is on Sheena stamping card, and then it's been coloured with Crafter's Companion Spectra Noir sparkle pens, so I'll probably cut that out and use it on a Christmas card. And then I did this one, and actually I've still got those letters taped together. We'll see how we get to that point in a minute. Now, the foiling on this wasn't quite perfect. When I did this one, I put in an extra card chimp, and it made a big difference. That's a really good piece of foiling. So that was an earlier attempt on some lighter card. Well, that was my first attempt, and the letters are a bit too far apart, and my E looks like it's falling over. So I've just had several goes on some different card. That one I didn't let the card warm up for long enough before I rolled it. I was impatient, I think, on that one. Oh yes, that's the not heated long enough. Yes, you can see I had several goes with that. Okay, so the big challenge with these is getting the letters lined up so your words aren't wonky. So I've cut some small pieces of card, and if you've got one, the easy way to do this is with a craft ruler, because it has these straight lines on it. You can put it down on your card, get the edge of your card lined up with one of the straight lines coming down, so that you know that your ruler's straight, and you can put some marks on your card that you're going to then use to line up your letters. Now, so that's one way to do it. If you haven't got one of those, you might have a paper trimmer. So just make some space. So if you've got a paper trimmer, you can line up your card with the top, take a normal ruler, butt it up to the edge of the paper trimmer guide, and use that to make sure you can get some guidelines in the right place. Okay, the measurements aren't critical, but if you're doing more than one row of text, you need to make sure your lines are parallel, they're straight compared to each other. You don't want one going up and one going down. So before I do that, I'm going to sort my foil out. I've just got some silver foil here. Okay, so before I start, I'm going to put my foil on my card, and I'm going to use some small pieces of tape just to keep that in place. Okay, I use frog tape for delicate surfaces. It seems to behave well with the heat in the Go Press and peels off the card and the hot foil stamps easily. Doesn't tend to leave sticky residue, and if it does, I find just laying a fresh piece of tape over the top of the stickiness and peeling it back off tends to lift off all that sticky residue, leave your hot foil stamp clean. So I've just, on the corners, just to keep my foil still, I've left the edges of my card showing. I'm going to put some marks on those so that I can line things up. So I'm going to use, let me show you this way. So I'm just going to put my card level with the top sort of cutting guide, and I'm just going to use a normal plastic ruler. I'm going to lay that on there and just butt it up against the strip that you used to hold your card still, and make sure I come down far enough for my letters, my top row of letters, and just put a little pencil mark where the ruler is lining up with, and then I'm going to move it down again, making sure it doesn't get caught on my tape. Make sure I've left enough room for my second row of letters, and put 2 more marks, one that end and one that end. Okay, and now I can put the paper trimmer out of the way. It's done its job. So now I've got my ruler, and this has got a beveled edge one side and a straight bit the other, so I'm going to turn it over and use that. Okay, now the other thing I need, which is a really big help, which I've got these stuck to, we'll come back to those in a minute, is a good magnetic sheet. These came with a die set, but a magnetic storage sheet will really help, because it will stop the letters dancing around too much as you're trying to get them in the right place. So what should we do? Shall we do Let It Snow, or shall we do something else? Let's do Let It Snow. I like that one. Where's the L? Ah, no, I can't, because I only got one set of uppercase and it's in the love. I'm going to do bear with me a minute. Right, I've decided. Let's do Dream Big. So, got my capital D. Not sure there's a right way up or wrong way up for these. Yeah, you can. There's a difference. So make sure you get bottom at the bottom. That's it. You can only go one way round. Okay, so there's the D. And then I need an R. Q, R. Now, although the letters are backwards when you're looking at the hot foil stamp, when you're actually laying them down to use, you're looking at the back of the hot foil stamp and the letters the right way round. So you haven't got to spell things backwards. I need an E on this side. And an A. You can make up pretty much any word you want that you've got the letters for, so you really are sport for choice. Okay, so I'm just going to check I've got my ruler lined up with my 2 pencil lines correctly. I've got those first letters. I'm just going to kind of move them into the centre of the card. And I found you actually want them touching, otherwise they look like they've got too much space between them, but you don't want them knocking each other over. So I just need a bit more space for my R there so it can stand up straight. I'm just nudging it into place with the end of my pencil. It's just a pen. It could be a normal graphite, normal wooden pencil. Mine happens to be an automatic one that I keep in my box. Now my E is falling over, so I want to nudge the bottom of it Stands up straight. Yeah, you need to go along a bit. Because there's a slight edge around the actual foiling surface, that gives you the space between the letters. There we are. So that's Dream. So now I'm going to take a fairly big piece of tape. And I'm going to leave my ruler where it is, and I'm going to come down sort of just over halfway down the letters, and I'm just going to touch the tape to them. I'm going to make sure they didn't move upwards, and then I'm just going to push that tape down. So that's my first row of text, and then I'm going to move the ruler down to do the next one. So I want my capital B. I want an I. Okay, and I want to get those roughly lined up in the middle. Depending on what alignment you want, you might want them all lined up against one edge, or you might be doing it just in one long row. Or you might decide to do 2 sentiment tabs with one word on each one. It gets you around this whole problem of needing parallel lines. Make sure the B isn't falling over. Nudge that I down and up against the B. Now, the G has a tail, which is why I decided to do that word. It needs to come down below the line. So obviously my ruler is in the way now. So I'm going to tape those two in place and then move the ruler out of the way. So I'm going to move the ruler, let's leave the ruler up there. Take those there. So I'm not going to worry about actually sticking them down to the floor, but I just want to make sure they don't move relative to each other and to that top line. So I will pick this up and show you in a minute when I've got it stuck. Okay, and then my G, I'm just going to have to slide under that tape because it's too big. Just lift that piece of tape up. Okay, my G needs to come in there. Okay, this is one you might want to experiment with and decide what the best place is for it. So I've just stuck it down the end of that piece of tape. I'm going to put some more tape on it. There we are. So that is well and truly secured. And then I can show you what I've done. So there we are. So those are stuck down with my foil underneath them. Okay, so that now needs to go on the Go Press. Pick these letters up. Move that out the way. Excuse my arm. Right, so Go Press. It's been warming up. So here's its platform. Now, I had a thought about this, and I thought I can either try tipping that upside down, or I can put it on top of my shims, and I can do that. Pick my shims up and put that on there, and then close that bit that way and then careful because this gets quite hot. Squeeze the lid closed from underneath and turn it back up the right way. That'll save anything moving when you try to get it onto the GoPress plate. So that's going to need a few seconds to warm up because the dies need to heat as well as the foil. So while I'm doing that, let's go back through these. So here we are. So that's that one, and somewhere here I've got With Love, which was foiled with these. So when I've done my foiling, I've carefully peeled the tape back so it peels away from my foil but not away from the hot foil stamps, and that means I can then, without having to do lots of measuring, just get a piece of card, put some foil on it, stick those down. So if you're doing a batch, then you can do several without having to lay it all out again, because that is a bit time consuming. Okay, let me pause and go and run this through my die cutting machine. Okay, so I'm back from the die cutting machine. Let's see what we've got. So just opening this as normal, right way up. So I used folded, that's a double shim, and another double shim. That's where I arrived at when I was experimenting this morning. That presses really well into the card. You kind of need this on this Sheena stamping card because it's a watercolour card. Its density is a bit more open than some of the other card I use, and that's so that it because it's a watercolour card, it needs to do what it does. But it does mean it's more squishable when pressure is on it, and the uneven foiling I was getting earlier, if you look really closely at that, there's some uneven bits on that. That's because some of the card squished more readily than other, and hadn't squished all the way. So that's that. So that's what I've got, and if I peel that carefully, I can keep those letters together. So I'm going to start peeling. Actually, I think I'll go from this edge. I usually peel from on top of my foil upwards and hold the foil still. And I'm taking tape off. Very carefully does it so that the letters can stay together in case you want to do it again. Because you might just go, oh, I needed that further down on the card or something like that. And if that's all you need, then you might go, ooh, there's a dirty mark on that piece of card. I need to do it again. So we might have some overfoiling because I had lots of shims, but we can take care of that. And I probably would be trimming the card anyway. And if you can trim your foil down to the size you need more. Okay, so that's just coming away from there. And there we have it. Dream big. Yeah, I think that G looks okay there. It's one of those letters where the tail of it starts there, not there, really. So that's the bit you have to kind of line up the bottom. Yep, it wouldn't have worked lining it up with the top, I don't think. It could maybe go a bit higher. That's one of those things that I'll need to experiment with. So that's that. So then if I want to reuse that, or the With Love, I can take another piece of card, and I do have another piece of blank card, I know I do. There we are, another piece of foil. And this time I'm going to stick the foil down again. And I'm not going to do all that measuring because I've already got my letters stuck together. Now I've got my 2 little bits of tape that I use to stick the foil down still. Because it's frog tape. It's, you know, as masking tapes go, it's more expensive than a lot of the others. But I do find that, you know, I can reuse it while I'm having a crafting session a few times before it sort of goes mushy and the glue's been too disturbed by the heat. So let's take my With a Love that I was using this morning, and then I can just line it up roughly in the centre of my card. I'll see if I'm going to trim this or die cut it afterwards. There we are. So that was quick. That goes on there. And then we can put it on the Go Press. Move that one out of the way. So if I'm doing my Go Press this way, I have to turn this upside down. So you have to make sure everything's well and truly taped in place. And then you can do that and put your shims on top as normal. Or you can do what I did just now and lay it on the lid, but it's the reverse way, shims and everything upside down. And then if you've done that and you thought, oh, did I do that right? You can always lift your shims off and just have a sneak peek, make sure you've ended up with your, so you've got your hot foil stamp and then your foil and then your card and then your shims. Okay, so that's heating up, so I'll show you how that comes out. Okay, so back from the die cutting machine, open the lid, 1 shim, 2 shims, and these are, let me say again, double thickness, so a 250 GSM card, usually a failed foiling experiment. It's folded in half to give me shimmers that size. I've got bigger ones if I'm doing a bigger area. So here we are. This will be quite hot, so you can use your tool. I'm just going to put that on my glass mat. So there we are. And then I shall carefully peel this again. There we are. The problem I have is getting them stop sticking to my fingers. I'll take the tape off the foil. There we are. As I say, if you're doing a batch, if you've got a particular sentiment you like that you haven't got as a hot foil stamp, can't get as a hot foil stamp, then you can do yourself a batch of them, perhaps in different coloured foils. And then this is on Sheena stamping card, which is great for watercolouring on and all sorts of things. So you can add your own colour afterwards, or of course you know, if you've got pattern papers that this works on, you can do that as well. I thought I might try stamping because it should resist. So I'm going to give that a quick go and then just show you the result. Okay, so I just needed some time there to get my stamp ready. I've just put some different colour pigment inks on a stamp and I'm just going to plonk it down in the middle. Because this is not going to be pristine stamping, it's got a sentiment going through it, for goodness sake. But I just wanted to see how well that resists. Now, there we are. So at the moment there's a bit of ink on the silver. You can just about see if you look really closely. Once the ink's dried, you should just be able to wipe that away. So let me get a tissue and I'll do that. There we are. So I've literally just used dry tissue. Just give the letters a quick buff, because the ink can't stay on there. There's nothing for the ink to soak into. There we are. So this is why I love foiling, because it will resist anything, and so you can do so many things with what you've foiled. Thank you for watching.